guys, welcome to the Talkoffame podcast. And today's guest is William Jefferson Jr., who's an actor, award-winning filmmaker, CEO of the Actors Advisor, helping over 100 people finding representation. His television credits include Law and Order at NBC, Chicago Fire NBC, 4400 on CW Film, Hills Half Acre, To Buy, City of Vultures 2, Apple TV, The Coleman Show on Amazon Prime. He got his BA in journalism studying radio, TV, film at Miles College in Fairfield, Alabama. He has collaborated with other indie filmmakers in Chicago and has since then directed and produced his own projects, which include The Decision, which won Best Film in a Monotulu Film Fest. William is set to star in several upcoming projects under Mabala Productions, which has been produced by any nominated producer. He is a proud member of SAG-AFTRA, represented by Inclusive Artist Agency and Top 10 Talent Management. William, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate you coming on and talk with us today. It means so much.
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. What an introduction.
Thank you. And so,
Yeah.
if people aren't familiar with everything you're doing, how you started out, like tell us kind of more about your journey and to what you're doing now with acting and filmmaking.
Yeah, so I started off I did a web series called Juke a Chicago Story when I was 18. Well, first of all, let's start right from the childhood. So childhood, I always wanted to be an actor. And I told my parents and they was like, "Nah, you want to be a doctor or you want to be a lawyer." And I was like, no, that's not what I wanted to do. But realistically, they just didn't know where to go, where to take me because, there's a lot of like scams out here to tell kids like, hey, if you join, my agency, I'll get your kid on Disney or Nickelodeon. You pay
Mhm.
$6,000. You see those type of things in the malls and or hear it on the radio. But um she just didn't know where to go. So luckily, my mom put me in everything like karate, basketball, football, Boy Scout, you name it, and everything but acting, honestly. But it helped me as a child, doing those type of things and dancing. And like all of that helped me as an actor, doing all those skills. And I had to wait until I was 18. So I saw this casting call for a web series called Juke a Chicago Story. And I was like, man, I want to, do this. So I went in person, did the audition, and I got the lead role for this web series. Now, this web series hit 1 million views on YouTube.
Oh,
Um,
gee.
so it got me kind of, my fan base. And I was a senior in high school at this time. So I'm like, man, do I stay here or do I go away to college? Because Miles College is in Birmingham, Alabama. It's a small historical Black college. And so, I'm a big believer in God. So I just prayed, and I said, Lord, if this is for me, let me go away to college. Because I want to get the whole experience at the dorms and
Mhm.
college life. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna put it on pause. And I went to Miles and studied. And so I left Juke a Chicago Story, which was this big web series back in Chicago. And everybody was just asking like, well, are you going to act? Are you going to act? So I was going to study theater instead, but I talked to my advisor and she was telling me like, you should try communications degree because communications, you can learn everything from editing, writing, script
Mhm.
writing, producing, like the whole, and it will help you as an actor. I was like, you know what? That's a good idea. So I studied that. Um, Graduated, went back home, started to do background work, and that's how I really got started. People was telling me exactly what I need to do. It was like do some background work, go to classes, go here to get headshots, go to this school to train. And I was writing it down. Every time I was on set, I'm like, okay, I'm hearing like the same names, same people. And I told myself I'm gonna get an agent within 6 months. And I did. I got an agent, start to audition, and then it just went from there.
Gosh, you literally tried everything that I really ever heard of. Oh my gosh. So you
Yes.
were born in Chicago, right?
Yes, born and raised.
So I always heard from so many people in the Chicago scene, but what is the Chicago scene for you? What is it like for you? Because I know I hear a lot of people that are born and raised from Chicago about their experiences, but what is the Chicago scene for you? Because I know every person is so different.
It is. So hearing it within now these 4 years, I hear Chicago has this big theater, theater world. And I've done one play last year, a community theater project, but like they have a lot of great theaters like Steppenwolf, the Goodman, and like so many theater places here. And so, but for me, I came from the independent side. So there's like a lot of independent films, student
Mhm,
films here at DePaul, Columbia, Northwestern. And then right my junior year going into senior year, that's when Chicago Fire came along, Chicago
mhm,
Med, Chicago PD, and the show Empire. And
mhm,
Chicago was really starting to boom. And I was like, okay. Because I was originally supposed to move to Atlanta, but my aunt was telling me like, "Hey, you should try to go back home. There's a lot of shows going on here." And
mhm,
so Shameless was also in Chicago as well at
mhm.
that time. So just getting my feet wet and like being in the scenes, it was always something TV wise, film wise, commercials, everything. So I was just like managing and dabbling into like all of that. And um for like 1 year, really just like diving in, going to film festivals, going to
Mhm.
networking events, meeting people. And so that all just like helped me just like build my network and just um get into the community.
Yeah, like I love like that you mid originally moved back to Chicago, but originally in the 2000s, there wasn't really TV shows or even movies about Chicago. It was mostly
No.
about like LA, New York,
Mm-hmm.
maybe Atlanta, like those like OG,
Mm-hmm.
acting places. And
Yep.
so it like maybe in the early 2010s is when usually Chicago stuff usually came out, and really Chicago started to become one of the biggest places for acting. And so
Yes.
when you originally moved back to Chicago, like, did you see more of a difference with shows and stuff when you moved back?
I did. And there's just like so many great other shows too. Like we had Trial of Seven, we had Lovecraft Country, uh we had Southside,
Hmm.
The Shy, Power Book Force, 4400, The Big Leap. Like I can go on and on and on. Justify. We had about like 12 to 13 shows within the past 4 years.
Which is crazy.
Uh, Yes, which is amazing. So we had so many opportunities in Chicago, and that's just shows. So we had films as well. Candyman, which was in theaters, that was pretty cool. Sometimes some Marvel things come to Chicago. There's a lot of stuff that's on like Lifetime, Tubi, Amazon Prime. Like Chicago is really, really high on the market, and I love my city. I really, truly do. So I was just like impressed, even because I got in right at 2019 going into 2020 professionally. So I got in, boom, COVID. It's like I feel like everybody that I meet, they just would say, like, hey, I started in 2020. Like 2020 was the year for everybody because that's
I
supposed to be
know.
the
And then so
the
COVID
vision.
hit, nothing happened.
Oh, but that didn't stop me. I was like, I know we're going to get out of this thing. So everybody was at home. And so that's when the home of self tapes was happening,
Mhm.
So I was in every casting director's live. I was in classes because I'm like, I know we're going to come out of this thing strong. And then once they find out about vaccines and COVID tests, and they got immediately back on set within 3 or 4 months, I was like, oh, and I got a chance to train with like the best people via Zoom. And so I was just like, look, if I want to be on top of this thing, I need to be just like how it is virtually. And so I
Mhm.
did, just that. And it really, really just helped me just build my network, especially Clubhouse. Clubhouse was a thing too. I don't know if you remember Clubhouse. Did you have
It
Clubhouse?
sounds familiar. I don't think I ever
Yeah.
watched it, but it does sound familiar.
Yeah, Clubhouse was actually an app. It's like a audio app
Mm.
where actors, writers, producers, everybody who's in the industry, entertainers, it was an app like kind of like a podcast thing, and you can be in like different rooms listening, interacting with different people. It was a vibe in 2020.
Oh wow.
um People that you would never ever talk to, like producers, showrunners, people was in those rooms and you were engaging. So I was in it all. I had to
Oh
figure things
damn, it seems like you're everywhere, man. Like it
out.
seems like you're everywhere. But
Yeah.
like you, of course, with the acting scene, like it really slowed down in 2020 because of COVID.
Mhm.
Self-tapes became even bigger. Like self-tapes were a thing before 2020, but it
Yep.
became much more popular than in-person auditions nowadays in 2024, which is, really sees how much COVID really made an impact on actors in terms of auditioning and self-tapes, in-person auditioning. It really changed everything.
Absolutely, it really did. And a lot of my actor friends are just like, from back in the day, they're like, I don't like the whole self-tape thing. And I'm just like, I'm having fun with the self-tapes. I'm having fun with the Zooms. I'm getting creative, and it's like they're not going anywhere. So it's like you got to get adapt to it,
Definitely.
And
And plus, with self tapes, you can do it multiple times instead of one time thing.
yes, yes. And you know, everything is just pretty basic in my opinion. Like you got a backdrop, the whole props versus no props, the whole
Mhm.
costumes versus no costumes. Like you just don't know what they want. You just do what's best for you, what's comfortable with your space. And some people book with it out without it. Some people book with gray,
Mhm.
green. I've seen it all. I've seen people book with it all. So you
Yeah,
can't satisfy everybody. You just got to do what you have to do and hope for the best and just move on to the next and just do your best work. That's the main thing. Do your best work. Everything else is just extra.
for real. And so, of course, you were on Law and Order, which is
Yes.
honestly one of my favorite shows ever. I'm obsessed with Law and Order. And once I saw, like, was reading your bio and everything that you were in Law and Order for a little bit, I was like, okay, I need to ask
Yes.
this question. Every time I see Law and Order, I always have to ask. So,
Yes.
what was kind of the behind the scenes like when shooting Law and Order?
Oh man, it first of all, I had just got back from Mexico. I shot a commercial, the current bank commercial spot.
Hmm.
They flew me to Mexico, all expenses paid. And I came back and I had to audition for Law and Order. And I was out to eat actually with my mentee, and we were talking about college because he wanted to go away to college. And I was like, oh, got an audition. And he's like, well, let's go do it. And so I went to my coach and I did it. Um, the breakdown said like messenger. He's handing a subpoena to one of the detectives, and it didn't really have much of just like any. I'm guessing it was any ethnicity, maybe
Mhm.
like any age range from like 30 to 50. And so I did just exactly what I needed to do. And got the next day, first refusal. I was like, oh snap, oh snap. I'm like, it's like down to me and like some other people. And so I booked it. And so manager called and said, it's time to get yourself here to New York. And
Mhm.
so, because I'm a local hire everywhere,
Yeah.
so you know how that goes.
Mhm.
Local hire can be anywhere, New York, LA, New Mexico. I can be in Wakanda if you need me
And you
to.
just book a flight and just go, no matter where you are.
Exactly, literally. And so went there and it was everything happened just so fast.
Yeah.
So fast. And literally auditioned the day before and was in New York the next day. And I'm just like, wow, this happened so fast. Like I'm still like in the awe from the Mexico trip from the commercial. So I was just like, oh my God. And then I was getting auditions there and I'm just like, I need to be present in the moment.
Yeah.
So it was everything. My first time in New York actually. Um,
Oh.
so that was everything. I couldn't really do much, because I was just there and I came back. But everybody was really nice. Um, the crew was really nice. And it was just it was just like an almost like this is a hit show. Like
Yeah.
this is one of the legendary shows. So I was just like taking it all in
Mhm.
and was just like in an all moment. And I'm just like, wow, this I'm just just so blessed to be here. And the director and the writer was both there. They're also the producers. They were just like, "Hi, William. Thanks for being here." You know, um, and I was just like, "Thanks for having me." So, uh, I did what I had to do, was there for a few hours, said my one line. They got cut down to one word because what I was saying, it made sense for it to be a surprise to get the subpoena. Instead of saying it, I just knocked on the door and just said Nolan Price. So I was just like, yeah, makes a lot of sense. So hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully they call me back, back at that office, we're
Yo,
speaking
fingers
into
crossed.
existence, Law and
Oh,
Order. If you
yeah,
so
if it happens, I'll be the first one to watch it. Let's say that.
right?
But
Exactly.
like, was it for organized crime or was it for SVU?
It was for the original Law and Order.
Oh, original art.
Yep,
Did
yep, yep.
you wait? Did you talk to any of the cast members or no?
We talked, for a little bit, but no, it was just like quick in and out, and didn't really get a chance. I wasn't really there as long. So,
Mhm. That
yep.
makes sense. Like I'm so jealous that you went on a sub. 'Cause I always wanted to go on a sub Law and Order. So I'm just like, oh, like once I saw, I'm like, oh my God, he's living my dream, man. Like
Yes.
I love besides this, I'm a huge Mariska Hargitay fan. I'm a diehard. So,
Yes.
like to be on that set with Mariska, I'm just like, this is everything I asked for. Those
Yes.
but
Yes.
like with the SAG-AFTRA strike that happened last year, ending maybe earlier this year, like how did that affect you? Like, did it kind of affect you getting jobs and everything, or
Oh,
did
oh,
it affect you?
oh man. So Law and Order made me a must join. And so I joined right in like February, March, and the strike happened in July. So I was just like, well, no more non-union.
Hmm.
And I was proud because it's like I'm at the must join status. I worked my way here and I rode the non-union wave, especially the commercial world. And it's like, all right, now it's time. I'm with the big boys now.
Hmm.
So things were going great as far as audition wise. And I saw my auditions just like and people always say, well, did you see like less auditions? I was like, no, if anything, I think I saw more.
Yeah.
Um, and so right when I found out it was a strike, I was like, oh my God. Like it
Wrong
took me
timing, man. Wrong
right,
timing.
right when I joined, I was like, dang, should I have joined, right
And
then
did
and
I
there.
make the wrong decision? Like, did I make a great
But
choice?
I was like, I know we will fight, we will win. And so I've been in like strikes before. When I used to work for McDonald's, the strike for 15. I also and I'm a teacher as well. So I've been in the strikes for the teachers. So I was like, look, I'm gonna be in the strike with my actors. So I already know how this goes. So I went and I participated in the rallies. It was actually really fun networking, meeting people and understanding more of really truly what's going on and with my fellow peeps. So I want to be a part. So I went and I participated as much as I could. And you know, and to just speak out on things and hear out on things. And it was hard. It was tough.
Yeah.
Um, and there were a lot of sad commercials, sad waiver films. Um, but I was like, hey, we want to, be paid on time, pay what we're worth, and um, everything else. And so we don't want to, just we don't want to be used as forever or as a robot and all this other crazy stuff. So I'm just like, I'm here for it, and I know it's going to be over eventually. It felt like it was never going to be over, just like
Yeah.
the pandemic. It felt like it was never but I was doing, other stuff, same thing, in classes, sharp, taking new headshots, making sure I had the things that I had on my end during the strike. Because I'm like, once we come out of this thing, like, we better be ready. And so outside of that too, I was just creating stuff with my friends. We was doing like skits and funny videos and so still staying sharp, still being creative mode, auditioning for theater stuff too, because I was like, all right, I need to build, maybe this is time to build up my theater. And so literally just dabbing into like all of that. And so it took me out. I didn't think that it was gonna be over with. I didn't work as much. But I did audition, here and there. And voiceovers I was still getting too because I am a voiceover
Mhm.
artist as well. So, that's why I'm glad that I have many different hats because if I just had that, then it probably would have took me out because I know a lot of people just said forget acting after the strike. So
Yeah, because I know like once that like the strike took longer than most people expected. Like there's like
yes,
because like of course with most actors you didn't really do anything. You just sat there
yeah,
waiting for it to be ending. But it's also great to have maybe like a voice actor thing, so you have actually get some things rather than just sticking to one act and have nothing to do until the thing was over.
yes, yes.
But to wrap this up, like what can you say, about your upcoming projects that are coming out soon?
Yeah, so I can say that um I have I just finished a feature film that will be theatrical release next year, so I'll announce that soon. But just be on the lookout for that. Just know that I was in Virginia. It was amazing. It's a Christian-based film. And I'm excited for this because I'm playing a cop and
Ooh,
this is my
damn.
first time playing a cop. As of lately, I've been getting a lot of cop roles. I'm like, the world just wants me to be a cop so
I
bad. And
know
you
it
know what?
seems like that. It seems
And I'm
like
like, and at first I didn't see myself as that, but putting that uniform on and doing it, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take this and run with it. And so like playing the supportive cop, I was like, oh, I can take this for Chicago PD. I'm coming up next. NCIS, here I come.
that.
So
Or
being
Criminal Minds or
there,
something, or even Law
yeah,
and Order for crying out loud.
yeah, hey, yeah, speak that into existence. So it's been it was good, it was fun, something different, went out of town for. So um that is coming up theatrical release, hopefully on a streaming platform, major streaming platform, and um everybody was great to work with. And I am just now just taking the off from that moment and back to square one, back to auditioning and back to doing that. Before that, I wasn't doing anything else. So I was so after the strike in November, it was like nothing, and so this was actually my first booking of the year, and I am excited for it.
Yeah, not too bad. It's always good to be back in auditioning. Might as well be back at it. I'm sure you
Yes,
like to stay busy, right?
yes, yes, yes.
So I'm the same way. As long as I get something, no one's going to hear me complain. So
Yep, 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 for sure.
but thank you everyone for listening. I hope everyone enjoyed this episode and look forward to hearing more next couple of weeks. There's so much going on, which is crazy. I can't say if it's a good or bad thing. It could be both. But I hope everyone enjoyed this episode. Make sure to subscribe, review, whatever it's on your platform. And thank you so much, Will, for coming on and joining us today. I love having you on and joining us.
Yes. Thank you so much and happy Friday.